again, my browser. I don't have slides or anything like that. It's just, um, I have a website, and on the website, I just put some pictures of the project, and I'm gonna show and tell the story of this project, that it was my distraction, and still until very recently, from all the COVID and all that thing, right? So how all this started, I was browsing OnTars, and I found an ad of somebody, like many, like many ads like that, people giving away, tower, if you go and pick it up. So I found one in OnTars. It was a way, or a daily 48 feet DMX tower that was in Scarborough. And I replied right away, and somebody contacted me, and we started. And this is how I got it. So in reality, I didn't purchase this tower, and it was given to me, but I have to pay somebody to take it down, right? Because at that time I wouldn't do it myself, right? Also, um, the person that was living the hobby, and wanted somebody that has experience taking a tower down, and wants to be insured, just in case that something falls into the house. The house was for sale, so I didn't want he wanted to ensure that nothing happened to his property. Okay, so I had to go through all those things. The other thing is, if you have any questions, or just ask, just interrupt me, okay? If you have any questions. So this is what I found when I visit the place. Those two pictures on the top is what I found when I visit the first time the place in February, I believe it was, this year. I like it. It was in very good shape. Was a little bit of superficial rust, nothing big. And in the next two pictures in here is the people that I hired to bring everything down. So with the tower, everything was coming that was on the tower. So I got this VHF 2 meters Yagi, 5 elements Yagi. I got this mini beam, 3 elements mini beam, that is for 10, 12, 15, 17, and 20 meters. That works really nice. It was also this Alpha Delta DXB slopper, which is missing some spreaders in here. You can see they are at the bottom, but it should have all the spreaders in here. And what else? It was some, and it was in a GRB full size also in this tower, which I didn't put it back. That this is the only antenna that I got, and I didn't put it back. So my son, when we meet this day, and we help these people to bring everything down, and it was a good experience. I never done this before in my life, so it was a new, anything that I done for this project, I done it before in my life. So everything was new, right? And I learned a few things doing this project. So going into the next part, is, it was taking everything home, taking everything apart, cleaning up, make sure the parts works, right? First thing, I was told that everything was working, but sometimes you never know. Something can break in between, you take it down or something. So I wasn't sure. I tested, everything works perfectly. I was lucky, everything worked perfectly. So the rotor was open, it was refurbished, cleaned up, as you can see here, and then put back together. As you can see in these pictures here, this I painted the casing, right? The two parts of the case, which is, this is the bottom part, this is the top part. This unbelievable. This is a very old rotor, how well it works. It's all construction, right? I admire the old construction the quality of the old construction. Also, the quality of the tower still, probably is over 30 years old tower, and is solid, right? It's very solid. I cleaned it up here. Also, this is the potentiometer that reads the position of the rotor, the rotator. Yeah, I keep saying rotor that's in Spanish, in English, rotator. And this is after I put everything back together and test, make sure everything works properly, align, make sure the reading on the meter was correct, and it was working fine. So I was very happy. The other part I refurbished, it was the tower sections. So what I did for this is I brush the tower with vinegar, and the parts that they have rust, right? No, not the everything, right? The part of the tower that has some superficial rust, I brush it with vinegar and stainless steel or steel brush until I took all the rust off, and then rinse a lot with the clean water to remove and stop the action of the vinegar, and then after that dry it. And I did this on the hotter days in the summer outside, right? And dry, and then paint with the spray gun, which I never done before. I didn't know that the mess that will do on my garage. I realized this after the mess that I did, but it's good. The overall result, I did 2 or 3 layers, of hands of layers of coating of this with this paint, this silver paint, and it was very good at the end. All right, no questions so far? All good? Can you guys hear me okay? See okay, the pictures?
Yeah, it's all good, Pablo. Keep going.
Perfect. So then I hired my son. First, I picked the pot on my backyard to build this, right? So in this is after I started, but in this spot here in my backyard, I have like a planter or something. I don't know how you say that in English. It was a round piece of dirt still here, right? Was not all covered by the patio rocks. So I choose this because you cannot see this from inside the home, right? So you're not, I have a very nice view, and my backyard goes into the park, and it's a pond in the back, so I didn't want to block any views from the house with the tower from inside, right? So that was the best spot, the spot that my family allowed me to put the tower. So and we picked that spot, and I hired my son to start doing the digging during a week, I think, or a little bit more it took to dig this hole. It was not easy at all. So you can see here after the hole was done, maybe I can zoom a little bit, so yeah, pictures are a little bit bigger. The tower was hung. This is the first section of the tower with new legs. Of course, I couldn't take the old legs, right? Those got buried on the concrete from the previous base. So I have to purchase a new set of legs for this tower. And the first section and the legs are hanging inside the hole. They are not touching the soil because they're supposed to be embedded into the concrete, right? So you can see here the first layer of rebar. There are 3 layers like this of rebar. So this is the first layer. There is some rocks here at the bottom because this is my whipping tile. This is on top of my whipping tile, so there is some rocks of the whipping tile in here. There are some other rocks, patch stones I put in here to protect the foundation footing and allow the water to go through the base of the tower, right? And so I didn't want the base of the tower to stop the water to circulate from around the whipping tile. And in here, in this picture, you can see I use 3 chip levels, one attached to each leg, just to ensure that it was fully level on the position and it wasn't moving once the concrete started getting poured into the hole, right? So you want to make sure it's very, very straight up, right? Here you can see the concrete pipe from the pump. This was a small pipe that the company that I hired ran the first, which it didn't work. We wasted I would say good hour and a half trying to make the concrete to go through this pipe, and it didn't go through. It was stuck, and every try they did, so they came up after with a bigger, larger diameter pipe and replaced this. And this is a picture of the pump, and this is a picture of the truck that came with the concrete, right? So here at the end is the end result. When after all the concrete was pumped into the hole, the surface was fixed, I don't know, clean, and now waiting after that for the 4 weeks. You have to wait 4 weeks, 28 days for full dry of the concrete base. Some people, they start building or they continue the working a couple of days after. They don't wait for the full time because it was on top of a whipping tile and it was raining a few days before and a few days after. You know, I didn't want to risk it. I wait 28 days just to ensure. And because I was going to go up on this tower, I want to make sure it was safe, right? So in the meantime, I was doing other things, waiting for the concrete to cure. One of the things I done is, ideally, you should put one grounding rod for each leg or connected to each leg. That is ideally what you should do. When I found the tower, it had only one grounded rod. There was not 3, there was not 2, it was just one. I put 2. I installed 2. So this is one of them. It's a 10 feet 3 meter steel copper clad grounding rod, which it was very hard to find when I was looking. You know, everything I done, and I asked many of you your advice through the club group, the groups that we have. And somebody recommended a company here, which is very close to me, and they have 2. So I purchased, I wanted to purchase 3, so I purchased 2 and I installed those 2. So this is one, and this is one side. This is a 4 or 6, I don't remember. I think it's 4 AWG gauge copper wire, and this is the other side. This is from the other leg. What I did, I buried the cable on the under the patch stones, so going to the grounding. Okay.
Pablo,
yeah.
How much concrete did you actually use? How many cubic feet or pounds or whatever?
Yeah, very good question. The size of the hole calls for a little bit over 2 cubic meters of concrete. So this is really not too much. The truck is, I think, is 8. The full the truck, I think, carry 8 cubic meters of concrete. So 2 meters is nothing, but you need extra for the pump, right? For the run of the pump. It was 100 feet run, so I need to order more or less quarter meter more for that. And to be safe, you don't want to be short, right? And the concrete is not the biggest expense here, right? the pump has expense and other things, the delivery has expense. So the concrete itself is not very expensive. So I ordered, I think, 3 meters or something close to 3 meters just to be safe. And to be honest, I don't know how much was left over on the truck, right? But I want to be sure that it's not going to be shortage of concrete. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. There are calculators for this, and it's a very simple measure. Like I said at the beginning, I built almost everything that I needed. The only people that was hired was only to take it down. So I built the gym pole according or based on the manual or the instruction sheet from Wade, from the tower manufacturer, with my own modifications. And what are my own modification is the Wade Tower company. They use 2 supports only like this, 2 supports, and is half of the post in the part that you're using for support, and the other half is on the top. And you can do it that way, but that it will not give you enough clearance on the top of the section that you're bringing in to handle it properly, right? And because I was doing this by myself and with only one person that will be helping me, that was my son, helping me to raise this, I want to ensure that I have enough clearance. So I did a couple of modifications to this design. So what I've done is, first of all, I want to make sure that nobody was going to get killed because of this break. So I had a third leg that it was holding into the tower. And I used 1 full mast. This is a fence post, 1 full fence post for the side of the section that was holding. And as you can see here, I use another full fence post for the top. So with this design, when I raise the next section, it was completely hanging from here, from the top, from here, right? From the, what this is called? This thing here?
What's it called?
Pulley.
The pulley was completely hanging from the pulley and the rope and that, right? So, and it was a nice gap here before this, because it goes inside, right? One section goes inside to the other. So when I clear that the top part, I can ask them to lower a little bit and put it inside. So this here is a detail. Why I put this hook on the top is because it's in 2 sections, the gym pole, right? And then when I raise the gym pole into the next section, I need to put it somewhere, right? So I hang it using this from the section that I just installed, right? Okay. Any questions about the gym pole?
What diameter of fence post did you use, Pablo?
So the ones those are the fence post that goes vertical. They are not the horizontal ones. So those are the bigger ones, and I think they are 1.75 inch. I don't remember exactly which one, but who asked? Alex?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, it's Alex. I was just
I can go back to you, Alex. I can give you the measurements.
Okay, it's not a big deal. I just wondered if it was the top rail. Sorry, I got someone baby doing.
No, this is not the top rail.
Or the vertical.
This is the vertical. This is not the top rail. This is the fence post, right? I made the mistake. I purchased the top rail, and then when I got it here, when I got it home, I wasn't very happy. It looked thin to me. So I say, no, I'm gonna return this, and I went back to Home Depot, returned it, and I got this one. Okay. Anything else on the fence post? So the rope goes from the inside of the post and come out here. And the other thing, yeah, this is remind me something. Here at the bottom here in this part that I'm circling here on the picture, I attach another pulley in there because I didn't want my son to be under the tower when he was pulling the rope, right? Because if something fell, I didn't want to fall on top of my son. So I attach another pulley in there. And of course, none of this is my ideas, right? This stuff, I saw it online on YouTube, how to make it safer, right? And then he can walk away from the tower when he was pulling the rope, okay? The assembly, right? So now is when all the fun comes because I never climbed a tower in my life. And I wanted to learn and I wanted to do it for the reason that I want to be independent. If something happens and you will see something happened, I had to go up many times. I didn't want to have to call somebody to go up and do the work for me. So I wanted to do it myself. So I want to learn. And somebody, a friend from Argentina that has a tower, he told me it's going to be scary at the beginning, but if you climb a little bit higher every day, you're going to get used to do the climbing and you're going to feel more comfortable every day until you get to the top. And he was right. I just follow his advice and this is how I gain courage, right? Because it's not fun, to be honest. If you don't like climbing, things like that, if you're not into climbing, it's not fun at all.
Pablo, there's someone, I think, raising their hand on the phone.
What that means?
Chris, whoever's 705, you see, at least in the bottom, I see it was blinking for a short time.
Sorry, I don't understand what you mean, Robert.
You can actually raise a hand up if someone wants to ask a question. So there's under the bottom screen, there's something called reaction. So you can someone can click on it and put up their hands. Usually it means they want to ask a question.
Oh, okay. Where I see that if somebody asks for something, where I see that?
Yeah, it's Pablo. I don't think there's anybody raising their hand right now. I think it was just somebody on the phone. There was probably some background noise and it just caused it to light up.
Oh, okay. So I thought somebody wanted to ask something and I missed that. So, okay.
Sorry.
So anyways, this is, I don't have a picture of this. This is the picture when we were doing this work, but this is the second section on top of the first section, right? When we tried the gym pole for the very first time, make sure our technique would work, right? So that was the test, right? So that we built the tower in 3 days. The Friday, it was the day that we put the second section and ensured everything that we planned would work, right? So we did that. And then on Saturday, you will now see me here doing all these kind of, acrobatics. You can see I'm fully attached. I have my belt, which is the white thing. I have the harness. I'm fully attached, even now I'm not very high, but I wanted to get familiar with the harness and the belt and all that, right? You can see here the half of the gym pole attached to the bottom section. And I was here trying to move the top section of the gym pole and to put it in here. This part in here, this is, if you ever have to build a gym pole like this, it's a piece that is for you to join when you build scaffolding. It's a scaffolding joint what I purchased. I was walking on that aisle, in Home Depot, and I found that fits perfectly on for this size of fence post. So here you can see my son. This is what I was telling you. The rope comes out of the bottom of the gym pole, right? Here is my other son, spine of what I was doing, right? And here is when I was trying to fit one section on top of each other, right? You can see how that is done. Is this? I think it was the third section. It was this one. So there are more pictures. So here at the end of that day, of Saturday, the section 4, and I took a picture, a selfie here, that finishing that day of work. Then, and you can see here what I was telling, that this is the view from my windows, right, from the back of my home. I didn't want to block the windows with the tower. So you can see where the tower was built is on the side of the window, and here are the other windows, so you cannot see it from inside. So on Sunday, we put the section 5 and 6 up. So section 5 is the before last section, right? And section 6 is the section that holds the mast on the top. And we're gonna talk about this after. You can see here. Here there is the pulley that I mentioned at the bottom. Here is the section 6, which has the mast on the top. Okay, is that piece in there. All right, and here I went to the back to the there's a trail on the back of my home, and I took a picture from the trail of the entire structure. You can see here, this is how it looks from it. You know, you can see it from here, but because those tall trees are in one side and there are more things on that side, there is really not too much impact into the environment, right? That you can see it, or is a thing that you can see it and disturbing too much the view, right? In general. Anyways, nobody came complaining. The next part talks about the rotator and the axle, and why? Because I didn't put the rotator on the top. I didn't want, if anything happened to the rotator, I didn't want to go up to fix it or to unlock it or change it or whatever, right? Or if it gets frozen in the winter. So I put it in the bottom. So to do that, I have to build an axle. And how I did that? I got two sections of 20 feet each of 1.75 inches. So 1 3/4 inch aluminum tubing. And I spliced them in the middle with a larger section of aluminum tubing, as you can see here. And this is the splice in the section in the middle of the tower. And also I put another supporting bearing in there, in the middle. And here you can see the top section of the axle, that this goes inside the mast on the top. And you can see I dress this with a little bit of aluminum tape. So when I put it inside the mast on the top, it's gonna be fit, right? And it's not gonna move around, right? And those holes are for the bolts holding on into the mast. So if you remember, I said I had to come up a few times up to the top of the tower, and this was one of the things that I had to come up. Even though I marked and I took some measurement of the holes that I made on the mast, I wasn't very sure, so I had to go up, mark these, mark the holes, come back again, drill the holes. So I have to go up and down on the tower so many times. Here you can see completed the bearing that I built. This is my own design. I built this first bearing for the middle, right? Because it's 40 feet of axle, right? It's a very long axle that goes from the mast to the rotator on the bottom. So you need to put something on the middle to avoid, too much flex and oscillation. And here you can see the bottom part of the axle, and this is like a ½ meter from the ground, right? So very nice height. You don't get the snow in here, and very easy to service. So I start thinking how I was going to do that, I went for a walk that day and I found somebody that throw a bell dish, and I thought I can use this for the base of my rotator. So I got it, I brought it home, I took it apart, I started figuring out how I can mount it, and I finally came with this design, which is putting, those are U bolts, but those are like a square U bolts. I put a little bit of protection in here so I don't scratch the paint of the tower, because those are very, very tight, right? Holding the base of the rotator. And the rotator gets, base of the rotator was screw, you know, was attached with bolts at this plate from the tower, from the bell dish. I don't see anything on the screen. I'm going to ask if there's any questions. If not, I'm going to move to the antenna part. So now I talk a little bit the antennas at the beginning. The only thing I want to say is I never put anything like this together before. I got the good advice on how to clean it up and test. I read the manual too and follow the steps. Here is after putting everything together. I imagine that this going up, it was going to get some bumps. So I'm going to show you what I did to protect that from moving once it was adjusted. So here is in vertical position. The manual and some recommended to tune the antenna this way. So here now is connected to my coax and is hanging also from a rope from the tree, and with this tripod that I built to hold it in place. And I tune it, and after I tune it, I make sure I was happy with how I was tuned. I put this self-tap screws to hold them in place, because when you bang this against the house or against the tower or against the tree, this could move a little bit and affect your tuning, right? And the other thing that can make that moving to happen is I install anti-corrosive inside the joint, which is called Ideal Noah locks. It's a very recommended thing to do, because once that is inside, it will prevent the aluminum to rust inside that joint, right? So here is a picture I took my wife when I was there. I'm not sure what I was doing here. If hooking up the coax or I don't know, just some work setting it up on the top of the mast. And here another picture, another selfie to celebrate that. And here you can see the loop for the coax. And the next is the alpha delta, right? That's the sloper. As you can see, I fix these, the spreaders. I put the spreaders and I glue them in place so they don't move. I set it up, I don't see 6 feet or probably less. That's the recommendation for this antenna. This antenna works only if you have something on top, a capacitive hat, they call it. This is the Yagi on the top. This is for 30, 40, 80, and 60 meters. And it works really, really, really well. With the 2 antennas, I'm extremely happy. And you can see here, this is how it's hanging down. There is one element here, which is the short one, is for 30 meters. The long one is for 40, 80, and 160. So the last antenna, and that I have, with this one I have some issues. I have to go up and down on the tower because I didn't test this properly. And I came out with my own invention and it didn't work. So this one here, if you remember, this is the 2 elements Yagi. that I say here badly converted to a dual band because this has a gamma, the 2 meter has a gamma match. And I put the 70 centimeters Yagi using a gamma match too, but I omitted the fact that when you do that, you need a duplexer. There is no way around this. So I didn't know that. So I connected to the same coax or the same connector into the old connector that was into the 2 meters, the gamma match for the UHF, for the 70 centimeter. That doesn't work. I didn't know that. I couldn't make any satellite QSOs. I can hear the satellites. I can hear in UHF. I can hear in VHF. Receiving work, but transmitting. No. It was no SWR, but also was no connection. Right? It was no QSO. It worked for the repeater. So it was marginally working for the repeater, right? Of course, there is not the same thing connecting a repeater that connecting to a satellite that is the closest is 1,500 kilometers of your station, right? So how I fix this? Of course, I had to go up, bring it down. And what I did, I built an, I went to Radio War, get the duplexer, and I put the duplexer and I started doing testing. It works much better with the duplexer, but the problem is I couldn't tune the UHF part. And why I couldn't tune is because I built the gamma match incorrectly. And I figured out that trying to tune it. And you can see here, this was, you can see it has a red shrink wrap in there. This is the old one. The new one doesn't have a shrink wrap. I protected with some glue, right? Against the humidity, the new one. So what happened with this? I don't know how many of you are into building antennas or interested in this, but the gamma match is like a capacitor, and that is supposed to have a range that it will work with this, right? So the one I built first, the internal part, which is the secret is this is a piece of aluminum with the inside of RG213 coax. This is the only thing that has inside. So the first one I built, the coax was coming up to here. So it was too long. That was the problem. I realized this looking at some designs online. So I shortened and I put it up to here, 5 centimeters. The total length of this is 8 centimeters. And when I was moving this bracket, this is the tuning bracket, still I couldn't tune wherever I want to tune this. So I shortened even more on the third iteration of the gamma match. And then I found the one that works. This has inside 3.5 centimeters. It has inside of the tubing. And I was moving this in and out until I found this is the right position, okay? Then you can see the duplexer in here that this was finally installed. And that's it. That's my story with the antennas and the tower. The last part, very quickly, when you do this, some of this stuff yourself, you need tools, right? And the good thing, what I like, is I will have those tools for my next project. So one thing I learned, I never done this in my life before, it was weld. I never weld. So I learned how to weld because I had to weld the gym pole, right? So I had to weld the gym pole. So I learned how to weld. So I purchased this in Amazon. It works amazingly good, right? I got a bench grinder use. I got the safety belt, and I got this. I cannot emphasize it's extremely important to use those two things. The belt allows you to work hands-free, right? Because you need your two hands to work, and the only way that you can be standing there and use your two hands is to have that belt on and to wrap around the tower. And this is gonna protect you if you fall, right? This is a fall restraint, and it's gonna protect you only if you fall. This is not gonna allow you to work, right? Rope, of course, for the gym pole. Torque range to the tower bolt and nuts are new. I purchased a new set with the legs. I didn't reuse the old bolt and nuts. So I put a new set in there, and it has a special torque. This is the spray gun I purchased to make a mess with the painting. And that's everything. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope it didn't bore you too much. And I don't know if anyone has any comments or any questions.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Brought back some
Welcome.
memories, Pablo. There's a couple of us on here that had that exact tower.
Sorry? There's what?
The Delhi 48 foot. I had one. Bob Knowles had one. There's probably more of us.
I had
Yeah,
one.
it's a very common tower.
Very, very common. Yeah.
Very, very common tower. Is Canadian made. The towers are not cheap to ship. So typically close to where the towers are made, people get them, right?
So Pablo, you mentioned to me about your Arduino project for the rotator. Could you just talk about that for a sec?
Oh yeah. I have picture too, and I don't want to keep it too long for this. So the presentation is supposed to be half an hour. I've lost track of time. When I start talking. If you're interested in to see the pictures again, or to check the other project like Chris mentioned, you can go to my website, which is my call sign, which you have it right there on the screen, Victor Alpha 3 hoteldatalima.com. That my website. You can see all the projects that I have in there. What Chris was mentioning is I didn't want to control the rotator by hand, not because that is hard to do when you do HF contacts, right? That is easy. It's because something I forgot to mention. The satellite Yagi is a fixed 30 degrees elevation because I don't have an elevation rotator, sorry. So it's a fixed 30 degrees elevation. That allow me to capture the satellite paths from above the horizon up to probably 50 to 60 degrees above the horizon. I will have a good coverage, right? So this is why I put it at 30 degrees elevation. But you have to follow through the path, right? In the horizon, in the azimuth. So this is the reason I need to automate the rotator position. So what I built is a very popular controller from Kilo 3 in November Golf. This guy Anthony Good is his name. He really done an amazing job putting together this project. I grabbed his code and follow the schematic. It was very easy for me to follow the step and build the controller. And with that, alongside with the software I used to track the satellite, the antenna follow the satellite along the path, right? So I don't need to worry to manually control the movement of the antenna. The satellite typically lasts the usable pass time of the pass of the satellite lasts around 10 minutes. So you have to be really quick to do QSOs on that pass, right? You cannot be wasting too much time pointing the antenna or setting up your radio. So the software in the computer does most of that work for you. So I don't know, Chris, if this is what you want me to cover or is something else?
Yeah, no, exactly. It was just a way of taking a manual rotator and making it automatic. And I was surprised how quickly you did it, right? Because I remember you putting the things together, and then suddenly you said, "Oh, I built this thing."
It was extremely quick to put that project together. This guy really, what he done is amazing. I done 2 projects of him. I done also because I'm learning CW. I started learning CW now at this age, right? He put together a keyer, and the keyer that he built around Arduino also is unbelievable. It's at the same level of the Rotator controller. The quality is unbelievable. The code is great. The functionality of the keyer is amazing. And I did his two projects. It's pretty good, the keyer. So yeah, very easy. Was the Rotator? The other thing I want to say, I was telling Chris, my login software, when I typed the call sign of the party that I'm talking on my login software, there is a place on the screen that shows the short path to the station. So when I click that, that software automatically points my HF antenna to that station, right? This is the other thing I like. I love DX, right? I love doing DX, and that is helping me also to point to the DX station, right?
Cool. Any other questions for Pablo?
So is it true that if you climb the tower enough times, you get used to it?
Except when there's
That's
wasps.
true. There is true that you shouldn't climb where there's wasp. Because, and I know when I put that email, I know, you know, sometimes I send messages like that to the group to spice it up a little bit, because I know that it's gonna be answers for that email. and still there are some people that reply, you know. So yeah, it's true that you get used. So for example, the last time I climbed, I didn't use the belt until I got to the top. I feel comfortable climbing. Of course, I use the hooks. I use I'm always 100% tied. This is the name, right? 100% tied to the tower. But the belt, I just put it when I went to the top. Before, I was so scared that I was going up with the belt, and that is slowing you down, because you have to, you know, move the belt, move the hooks, move the belt. So that is slow you down. But the last time I went up, I just went all the way up with the hooks, and then I just put the belt on the top.
Fantastic job.
Yep. Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you.
Great
Thank
presentation.
You. Thank you. The only reason I propose to show this when we were in the board meeting, we were talking what topics can we bring to this meeting that maybe the you guys you will like, right? And the reason is this type of structure to support and to gaining height for your antennas is very important. If you, for example, if you like DX, like I like, right? If you're not into DX, you know, if you're not too much into HF, into that, you do more VHF, UHF, you do other things, other modes, right? That's fine. But if you like HF, if you like DX, you need a good place to put your aerials, right? You put to hang your antennas, to put your antennas, even if you don't have a rotator, even to bring it up. My trees, they are not that high, and I noticed I made so many new countries after I put this. And a couple of weekends ago, we had the Europe contest. I made a lot of contact on that Europe contest, and I hear so many signals and countries that I never heard before.